welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nancy. If you're new here, you're welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you'll stay. If you're not new here, thank you so much guys for your support. I appreciate. So today's video was inspired by something that I saw. My thoughts are always inspired and provoked by stuff that I see online, either on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. So today's video was inspired by, I think someone posted something about dating, and this person was insinuating that it's so unnecessary to date someone for too long because probably of the many disappointments that people go through. There've been so many narratives and stories out there where people have dated for this amount of time and just end up in their separate ways. And so I decided to make a video about this because I wanted us to navigate this question, because I feel like people are confused about whether they should date for too long or wait until they are ready for marriage and just grab someone and date for a very short time. Probably usually what happens with other people is that they just meet and date for 2 months, 6 months, and they're married. And so I just want to talk about both short-term dating and long-term dating. Myself, I had been in a long-term relationship. I don't want to say how long it was, but it was a decade plus. And do I have regrets? I would say that I do have mixed feelings about long-term dating, but I feel that it's not when it comes to finding the right person for yourself, it's not really about dating that person for a very short time or dating that person for a long time. I think a lot of things have to come into play. For example, there's purpose. For example, there's just growth that happens. And also, I think the thing with long-term dating, you find that probably when you were meeting that person, you were young and you didn't really have that full construct of what you really want out of life. And so you find that you're just getting into a relationship out of excitement or out of peer pressure. And as time goes by, you realize that, okay, this is not this is not what I want. This is not what I would love to settle for. And so such things happen. So I think the thing with long-term dating, it's either you grow together or you grow apart. I think, like I mentioned, it's all about purpose. I think it's all about destiny. I don't sound spiritual or anything like that, but I want to be real. Yeah, I want to be real about this topic. And so so I just want to talk about really the pros and cons of both long-term and short-term dating. So because I had been in a long-term relationship myself, I think I'll start with that. I think being in a long-term relationship has its own benefits. Obviously, you get to know the person, you get to know you just get to know this person in detail, and when that time finally comes for you to settle down, you are sure about all angles. There are no doubts in your mind. You know this person inside and out. Although they say you can never really know someone, but I feel like for someone that you've been with for a very long time, it just becomes like family. You become too free with this person, and so that's the kind of knowing that I'm talking about here. You become yourself, because there's no more room for pretense. You've been with this person, you've been on multiple dates with this person, you've seen their ugly side and stuff, and so you just know the person better. And I think that's a major benefit of long-term relationships. And just to dive into the disadvantages or the risks of dating someone for a very long time, I think based on my experience is that like I said, it's either you grow together or you grow apart. And as people grow, the things that they like, their tastes change. and that's normal. And I think it's important for people in relationships to be aware of what of the changes happening in the other person's life. It's not good to take anything in this life for granted. So you need to be aware, because dating someone for too long, most of us take things for granted and we become self-absorbed. You're not aware if your friend is happy, if your friend is happy with the way things are going on in the relationship. You're just closed up. You're just thinking that everything is just on autopilot, and life doesn't operate like that. No wonder, for me, I feel that it's very important for people in relationships to have those kind of check-ins. Like, you check in with your friend, or you with your partner, or sometimes you check in with yourself. You need to sit down and really just ask yourself, is this working out for me? How do I feel about this person right now? How do I feel about their actions? So you need to have those moments of check-ins, although it's quite hard, especially when you've started dating young, because even just the idea of check-ins, all these relationships, let me just say, tactics and just things that really just brings about growth in your relationship are not things that you are aware of. And so I think it's very important for that's why, for me, the thing is, I believe commitment is not really for young people, immature people. You really need to know what you want from the word go. And for me, I believe that's maturity, knowing what you want out of life, knowing what you want out of something. Of course, when you're young, you can't have that full picture, because you don't have sufficient knowledge and experiences for you to be able to make that right decision for yourself. But in as much as you don't have the full picture, for me, I believe that you need to have that solid ground of knowing what you want. So that's a tip for people in long-term relationships. Okay. And I think, from my own experience, when it comes to long-term dating, I think the other disadvantage is that it's not an ongoing kind of relationship as people picture it to be. It's not that you date for 10 years straight and everything is just all rosy and stuff. There comes those moments when sometimes you take a break, sometimes you get to date other people and just have that feeling of having something different. And so you find that at the end of the day, people just come back together and realize, okay, I've been with this person, I've been with that person, and I think this person is my one true love, and they can't be compared to just like you just compare the two, and obviously you find that your partner is better or the other person is better and the like. So the thing with long-term dating, it's not really a straight line. There are so many bumps in it, but like I said, you have to know what you want from the word go. Okay, now let's jump to short-term dating. I've never really been in a short-term relationship myself. So I've only been in a long-term relationship, because for me, I believe that I believe in knowing what you want and going for it. I believe in making solid decisions, and not really those kind of decisions where today you make a decision and tomorrow you're unsure of that decision, kind of thing. I think that has never been me. For me, when I make a decision, from the word go, I will stand by it. Like, I will stick to that decision. So when it comes to short-term dating, I think the advantage that is there is that you don't really get to experience the bitterness of being with someone. Like, a relationship is bittersweet, right? And so when you find yourself in this short-term relationship, you don't really get to see that ugly side of things. And so I think that's a benefit because even when you're getting married, you're still in that romantic phase, where you're driven by passion, you're driven by the fire within you and stuff. And so I feel like yeah, that's an advantage that people that date for a short time have. I think their honeymoon is fiery, it's more romantic and stuff, because I think as when you date someone for a long time, you tend to calm down a bit. You tend to calm down a bit because you just get to realize that at the end of the day, we are both we are both human, and our characters are flawed, and so you get to calm down a bit. You tend to take things calmly. You're no longer driven by feelings or anything, but you're driven by a commitment to be with that person. So I feel like for people that date for a very short time, I think that's an advantage. Okay, and so it's like I wouldn't say an advantage. It's like you swap. For people that date for a long time, you also have that moment of romanticism and high passions and stuff. But anyways, you get my point. So I think the disadvantage is that you get to see the ugly side later on, and I feel this is what really challenges people in marriages, especially young couples, because you go into this thing thinking that it will be all fiery, it will be all romantic, roses and stuff. But then when you are exposed to this ugly side of things, you tend to, I think most people don't take it well. I don't know. I've never really experienced short-term dating, so I really don't know. I forgive me, guys. I just don't know what I'm talking about right now. Probably I'm just bluffing, but I think I'm just trying to create a scenario in my head, because every relationship is bittersweet, and there's always an ugly side, of things. And so I believe that for people that date for a very short time, they get to see the ugly side of the other person when they are married and settled. And I think it never really sits well for most people, because especially for young couples, because I think the disappointment tends to be greater when you date someone for a short period of time. And also I think for me, having dated for a long time, I tend to view, yes, marriage is ordained by God, but I think for all relationships, whether you date for a short time or a long time, I think they're just ups and downs. It's always a bumpy ride. There are just ups and downs to every relationship. Whether you date for too long, whether you date for a very short time, I think at the end of the day, we'll all come to that. We'll all hit into that bump and just see things for what they are, and that just removes the blindfold from our eyes, and see people for what they are, and just realize that people are just people at the end of the day. No one is perfect. No one is like no one is to be adored. Usually when you're in love, we tend to give people that we love that adoration, that admiration. I'm not saying that these things should stop because you've seen someone's flaws, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, you realize that in as much as this person is beautiful, this person is admirable, this person is adorable, at the end of the day, they also have that ugly side of them. And I think and I think what makes relationship work is just having that maturity, and also having that, being decisive about what you want, and also just honoring your commitments, your marriage vows, and just, I think, respect, and above all things, love. You love the person unconditionally. I don't know, I'm saying that like, I don't even know if I really know or mean what I'm saying, because I don't think there's a thing of loving someone unconditionally. Of course, you need to have certain expectations of you know, you need to have a level of expectation um, that this other person should meet, or a certain this other person needs to meet a certain criteria. You know, for men they have to provide. I think that's even biblical. So I don't know if it's, I don't know, guys, but nevertheless, I just want to say that, you know, with social media, people always post things out of their own experiences, and usually it's out of bitter experiences, and people will say all sorts of things. And for me, my thing is, it's not about it's not really about you trying to live through someone's experience, you know. So, because with that post which was made, you know, someone may be in a long-term relationship, but seeing that seeing that post on Facebook, they'll feel like, I'm just wasting time with this person. Let me just be with this guy who's been proposing marriage to me for a long time now. So you end up disappointing this other person, even though this other person hasn't done anything to you, hasn't done anything wrong to you. So certain for me, how I treat social media is that whenever I see something, you know, I tend to analyze that post and see if it's really coming from a good place, or just coming from someone who's bitter, and, you know, they're trying to project their own fears on other people, and stuff like that. And so it's very important for us to, again, look within ourselves and think about what you want, and not to be easily influenced by what we see, especially on social media, where any type of information can be posted, you know. So it's very important for us to especially when it comes to a relationship, do what feels right for you. Don't date someone because your friends will clap for you, because your family members will clap for you that you've chosen this wonderful person and stuff. Do what feels right for you. At the end of the day, you'll be the one waking up to that person. So choose someone that when you wake up in the morning, you feel at peace. You're happy to lay beside them, and not really to run away from the bed, you know, to, I don't know, like, just choose someone that makes you happy, that gives you that sense of peace, and yeah, someone that is easy for you. You know, there are people that are difficult. There are people that are difficult to live with. So pick someone that gives you that sense of peace. Life is too chaotic for you to be stuck with someone that really just doesn't afford you that peace. So thank you so much, guys. This is what I wanted to share with you. You can drop your comments down below to share your dating experiences, and how that has been for you. Otherwise, like I said, when starting this channel, I started this channel not without the intention of becoming a life coach or whatever, but just to simply share with you guys my life experiences, the lessons learned, and also the mistakes that I've made along my journey of life. So thank you so much, guys. Once again, please remember to like this video, and yeah, so when you like this video, it just increases the visibility of the video, and more people will be able to see this video. So thank you so much, guys, once again, and see you next time.